It's Thursday, the 11th of May, and we've added some lupins, and chrysanthemums, and they've been very well watered in. For a change, far end of the greenhouse we've planted a pepper in the middle, a melon on the left of the pepper, and to the right a cucumber. Summer and winter squash, summer squash next to the peas, winter squash crown prince, and then we've planted some onward peas in the next row. Beans and runner beans. Climbing French on the first two rows. These are Cupid, the first punnet of the season. These heads are definitely big enough for us. If you leave them to become giant, refurbished perennial bed is looking pretty good. Needs a bit of weed, but it's not too bad, and it's certainly looking much better than I thought it would look at the beginning of the year, when it was virtually just bare ground. Our potatoes look to be doing alright, and then we've no signs of blight anywhere on the plot. Unfortunately, this cardoon was badly damaged, as you can see, and it's not really making much of an effort to recover. The only good thing is it's not leaning over the potato crop. These are Tulamine raspberries. It looks like one of my jobs this afternoon is going to be to pick all this fruit. This is our winter stroke late summer autumn brassica bed. The ones in the foreground are Brussels sprouts and cauliflowers at the back, both clubroot varieties. These are our red cabbages, growing much better than they did last year, and some summer cabbages. Our beans are at last starting to make some sort of effort. These are climbing French beans. We lost some plants in the drought despite keeping them well watered. Some just didn't manage to grow. It's been a bit of a poor year really for our climbing French beans, but hopefully we will get some eventually. And moving on to our runner bean crop, well, they're definitely doing better than the climbing French beans, and they're just coming into flower. Moving on, this little bed has our blackcurrant crop. We've harvested a few off a variety called Ebony, which is round the other side, but we've got quite a few more nice looking berries to pick, which will probably be a job for the weekend. The earliest sweet peas are now coming into flower and producing a few blooms each time we visit the plot. Like everything else, they're getting plenty of water. These are our summer and winter squashes. Quite a few crops to come on, hopefully lots of apples and pears and plums, runner beans and peas, courgettes and potatoes, not to mention onion. But there's other things that we're starting to lift now. We've got a brassica bed to clear and we can start lifting our potatoes. So parts of the plot will start to look bare, which is why I say I think cardoon, which was battered to bits in the gale, still remains battered to bits but is in flower, and the flowers are adored by bees. Our Loch Ness blackberry is doing what it does on its blackberrying. Our runner beans are now looking much better than they did. Plenty of flowers. And the flowers are setting, and we have got some small beans on, and the squashes are going rather mad, but look quite lush and tropical. So there's summer and winter squashes in there. First lot of sweet peas are looking very good. I'm trying to keep them going through this dry spell, but they don't look too bad at all. So the row on the left is Giant Winter, the middle row Blue Soleils, and on the right Below Zero. Strawberries are finished and ready for tidying up. So annual cut flowers, I've had a lot of misses, but there's some nice flowers in there now, and some onions that still look as though they'll continue growing. So's buddleias are in full flower. She's a bit concerned we haven't had many butterflies on, but that's been a case now for a couple of years. Lots of bees on these, but very few butterflies. The sweet corn, after a proper battering in the gales, is growing okay, and is sending some tassels. So these are last year's summer sown cut flowers, which are now ready for clearing. Some sort of overflow sweet peas, shall we say. And then on the other side of the sweet peas, if I'm a naughty boy and just walk across this bed, our next crop of onward, which we'll be able to pick very soon. The autumn onion bed, more or less cleared. We've picked the best of the onions, these aren't too good. We've got some French dwarf broad beans to pick. These are Robin Hood. So I think that's it then. That's a tour of the plot at the end of July. We've come down to the plot on Sunday afternoon just to get 1 or 2 jobs done. It's a lovely afternoon. It's not too warm, but just right for getting on with a few jobs. That's the crop. Another decent haul of potatoes for us. In comparison, that's 2 rows of more. So I thought I'd do an end of August video. I think I did the last one in July and things have changed considerably. We're well past peak growing now. Squash. They are very hard, just like a cricket ball. It's quite a challenge now to get down between the sweet peas and the flower bed. Blight free, unusual for us. So, got fruits in there ready to pick. Perennial bed continues to look good and provide cut flowers for home, but this part of the plot, these 4 beds in particular, which are the first ones to be planted up in spring, are the first ones to be emptied come summer, autumn time. Plenty of apples. These are our tickled pink. If you saw the video about a tickled pink, we're going to pick those before we go tonight. I think they'll just fall off the tree. As you can see, that branch has broken due to the sheer weight of plums on the tree. Our main strawberry bed cleared. Sue's autumn planting flower bed has some spaces. Our onions are all boxed up and live in between our visits in the shed to keep them dry and out of any rain. Our parsnips have got some good growth on. Hopefully we'll get something out of there. It was planted out and battered by wind, leaves were shredded. We thought some of the plants had died, but most of them have made a miraculous recovery. Some of those must be just about ready for picking. Tassels turning brown, usually a sign that it's about time we started thinking about picking some main things that we got left to harvest now. This pear's invincible again. More broken branches on this tree. And I'll leave you with a look at our Fiesta apples, which are not quite ready to harvest. Around the plot on a breezy early September afternoon. It's threatening rain. We've had very heavy showers all morning. We've just popped down to the plot to do a little bit of harvesting. They need as long as possible for the skins to harden, and they'll keep until early next year then, or even the middle of next year. Each of brassicas has been covered with this environment mesh. The butterflies have got underneath it, and we now have hordes of caterpillars. Red cabbage this year has done much better, and I know that we got some solid heads in there, so they've been a success this year. Perennial borders still looking good, although it's due to get even more of a wind battering tomorrow night, so I don't quite know what will happen to them. It's been a lot of summer. It's really quite unpleasant. It's not particularly cold this afternoon. It's definitely not very pleasant. Don't know what it'll look like on here, but there are some quite decent sized strawberries on there. Might well give us a little treat to go with our raspberries that I've just picked. I'm not sure our Egremont russet are quite ready yet. This side is going to be mainly flowers to have a look at, in that I've got around the other side because the wind's sort of blowing all the flower heads this way around. And they're standing up reasonably well to today's wind. Quite attractive at the moment. Rest of the plot down there, distinctly autumnal look about it. We think a Golden Delicious are still hanging on the tree very well. Don't think they're ready to harvest just yet. Have a look at pears. We've lots and lots of pears. Well, certainly on this tree. So it'll be a question of sorting out when to harvest them, really. We'll still have our quinces to pick. These will probably be our last fruit crop to pick, and we've now got some really decent sized quinces on there. Hopefully they will survive the battering they're going to get the rest of the day. And a little look at today's harvest. So far we've only managed one visit to the plot thanks to a kind plot neighbour giving us a lift to the plot and back home with his car boot full of our produce. It had been almost 2 weeks since we'd made our last visit. Our plots didn't look too untidy, which was a bit of a pleasant surprise. The flowers went into buckets of water to keep them as fresh as possible until they were ready for a journey home. The sweet pea supports had stood up well to the strong winds. We picked a punnet of lovely Loch Ness blackberries. The leaves are now beginning to take on their brilliant autumn colours. The berries are good too. Some flowers in Sue's early flower patch are producing a late display. We might have cleared these away to the compost heap a few weeks ago, but never got round to it. I'm not sure if our invincible pears are ready to eat, but as some had fallen to the ground and were being eaten, there didn't seem to be much time to lose. this cut flower bed by the compost heap still looking pretty decent. Our lavender plants have been flowering since early summer. They were in this bed as a temporary arrangement. These late flowers might produce some cutting material. We didn't pick any of our Meacher's prolific quinces. There's still a little bit of furbiness to the skins, so I think they'll benefit from a little longer left on the tree. Once we got back home, we arranged our harvest under the carport in the dry so we could take some video and pictures of what we'd managed to harvest through the afternoon. Lift down in his car. We were going to hopefully harvest the pears that were left on our invincible tree, but a combination probably of wind and just the pears being ready has meant that lots of them have just finished up on the floor. Bit of a waste. We'll have a look and see how many of those we can recover, and if we have a look, we still do have some on the tree that look quite nice, so hopefully we'll get those picked today. The grass is certainly long. It looks somewhat unkempt. Rose, it's still got lots of flowers on. However, this one hasn't. They're still putting on a reasonable display. To say it's been left unattended now for just on a month. Sweet peas to pick, and squash plants have certainly now died back, and I'm now going to have to head for the shed because as soon as we've got here it's decided to rain a little bit. So one of today's tasks is to harvest some carrots, perhaps even check out if we have any carrots. So taking care not to devastate any carrot, trying to get straight down. That's our first red cabbage for 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
And same variety that didn't do anything last year.
Yeah.
The sun's come out, so I'm going to try and do a little tour of the plot in late October. We're starting off around our pear trees and blueberries, which have now lost most of their leaves. We've harvested virtually all the fruit. This bed's now just about ready to be cleared, but we are still managing to pick one or two sweet peas from some cleared. Bed needs a tidy up. We're planning on harvesting one of these red cabbages before we head back home tonight. Some really good ones in there this year. Someone's busy over there pruning our summer raspberries. These are our first 4 black beds to be planted up next spring. 3 are covered in enviromesh, in weed control fabric, and I'll just leave those over winter. This is where our early potatoes were, and they don't use weed control fabric with them. Our frost, the perennial bed, is still looking pretty good, and it is windswept because we've had plenty of windy weather, but Dahlias, no frost, still continuing to flower. So it's all got to lean on one way. Our chrysanthemums are now looking really good, and Sue's cut some for home. There's one down there. And then a bit further along, there's another one. This bit sheltered this side, but still looking pretty good, and will provide us with some cut flowers. You can see plum trees now almost bare. Sue's cut flowers are just about finished now. There might be one or two left in there, but done reasonably well this year. Look at the beds now on this side. There's this lavender bed which has been flowering for what seems like months now. It's just about finished. Can it for this time of year? Didn't see any like that all over summer. Time we've been down to the plot this autumn since the clocks changed, so despite the fact it's only, well, it's nearly 4 o'clock, it's already starting to get dark, although it's been a dull sort of a day, so I'm not really surprised. But this is just a quick whiz round of what we've been doing this afternoon. So I've added some more wood chip onto this weed control fabric. It got some loose edges and it'll flap about all winter long. It'll rip and fray. So a bit of weed control, a bit of wood chip on the weed control fabric, hold it in place, and that, I've now got another big pile of bits and pieces which need moving. I've still got some more bits and pieces to see to chop down. So this one's been done. Should be alright now. Hopefully nothing will blow away over winter. And this one's been done. And there's a couple of beds here that Sue's weeded and sort of dug over this. It was just left in big lumps, so I've given it a bit more of a dig over. It's quite nice. Hopefully after winter weather's got on that should be fine. As you can see, the allotment now has a very autumnal look. Virtually no leaves left on the plum. Last week we had our first frost. It wasn't particularly cold, just below freezing, but it's been enough to hit the dahlias, and if you can see in there, you can spot the dahlia foliage is now black. So that means our dahlias can now come up much better. They've survived that bit of frost. They're still in flower. They're going to provide us with some cut flower material for home this week. Black raspberry, and it's still got quite a few nice flowers. The sweet peas are finished. The frost finally finished them off, and I think it's fair to say they won't be producing any more flowers So the sweet peas on this side finished too. There's nothing left, they can now be cleared off. And the bed left ready for next spring. 3rd of December, it's not a bad December day, it's quite mild. Come down to the plot. Main job today is to lift our dahlias. We were hoping some of the chrysanthemums might have survived the weather, but I think they can probably be cut back along with our dahlias. Dahlias definitely had it. As you can see, nothing left there, and chrysanthemums too in a poor state. So this afternoon's job, before I do anything else, is to tidy up around this perennial bed. It's the 20th of December. It's getting pretty close to Christmas. Come down to the plot. I'm going to try and do a bit of video to sort of tidy up our summary of 2017. It's a rather mild day for December compared with what we've been having. It's almost a heat wave. And just do a few general views around the plot. We've nothing really growing. With things we can harvest like carrots, leeks, parsnips. We got some red cabbage, but other than that, everything is in winter do nothing mode. Grass hasn't been cut quite a while, and I've no intention of cutting it until maybe March time, once it starts to grow again in spring. Beds have generally been left now from September time. We'll wait until we can start doing a bit of gardening again when it gets round to some warmer weather. So I'll have a wander up the plot and show you a view looking the other way. But there are some things that we could actually do that don't really involve getting on the soil. We could have these sweet pea supports down, clear the sweet peas away. We keep collecting nets from the plot next to ours. There's another job, the buddleias need cutting back. So I'll have a swing round now and have a look at the plot from up this end. I'll now head over to the other side of the plot. I'll go down this way. Don't usually go this way, but I think I'll manage to squeeze through here without too much trouble. Everything at this time of year is just lifeless. No real signs of life at all. Very miserable. Have a last look round our perennial bed. It's been one of our success stories this year. Not much left to show, or not many cut flowers in there now, but it's looked really good all summer and into late autumn. I'm guessing once again there's lots of stuff in here that we could now cut back, clear away. Anything we can get done now will be a job we don't have to do in spring. I'll have a trip up here. You can certainly see trees are now leafless. So that's it. I think that's probably the last look around the plot for 2017.